Regular viewers to my channel are going to realise that I love this bike. It's the Giant Defy Advance 2, and it's actually marketed as an endurance road bike. But also, if you're a regular to the channel, you'll realise that I ride this bike just about everywhere, and there are two good reasons for that. One is that I don't have another bike. That's probably the main reason. The second reason is I think it can pretty much go everywhere. So of course I ride it on roads, and I ride it on gravel, and I ride it on single track, and I even ride it on ankle deep sticky mud, as I did in the Paris to Ancaster race just this previous April. And so that kind of got me thinking, is this a Swiss Army bike? Is it one bike that can do everything? And I kind of thought it would be fun to look at it in a bit more detail and just work out if it is just that versatile, or maybe I just love the bike so much that I'm kind of like, making myself think that it's that versatile.
What about the specifications?
The Defy Advance 2 has a stiff carbon frame with relaxed geometry. The handlebar and seat stem use defused technology, and a medium-sized bike weighs about 9.1 kilograms. The bike comes with Shimano's 105 group set, and you get all of this for just a gnat's hair under $3,800. If you enjoy this video or you find it useful, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. It all really helps the channel out so much. This is marketed as an endurance bike, but it's also pretty fast, and that's due in large part to the stiffness of the frame, which really allows you to put the power down, and that stiffness comes into play when you're out of the seat climbing as well. And the 11 to 34 cassette means that it makes it possible for even me to get up most hills, not all, but most. A lot of the riding that I do is on really heavily rutted rail trails, and so I'm really grateful for the defused technology, which allows for flex in the handlebars and seat stem and takes a lot of that vibration and fatigue away from your arms and back. Although the bike comes equipped with 32mm tyres, it has clearance to be able to take up to 35mm. I normally run 34mm tyres, and I've found that they're pretty decent on just about any surface I've tried. But the issue comes with clearance, as the wheels can clog when confronted with really heavy mud. For me, this is where the bike really comes to life. The stiffness of the frame and the responsiveness makes handling fairly deep, thick, heavy gravel like this pretty comfortable. And jumping between a variety of surfaces from asphalt to heavy gravel to mud is actually fairly easy, and probably a lot more comfortable than it would be on many other bikes. Now, this is definitely a versatile bike, but there are some questions that need to be answered. For example, it costs $3,800. When I bought it, it was considerably less than that, but it still was not a cheap bike. And so, should I be putting it to this much abuse? Should I be riding it off-road? Should I be riding it on gravel and on single track? Or should I just keep it for what it's designed and manufactured to be, which is an endurance road bike? I personally like to get the most out of the things that I own, and I'm okay with a couple of scars and a couple of war wounds on my bike as long as I'm using it and enjoying it. I totally understand people who kind of want to bubble wrap it and just get their bike out to use it specifically for what it was designed for, but that's just not me. Now, I grew up in the 70s and I just had one bike. It was actually a 5-speed rally racer, and that bike did everything for me. It took me to my friend's house, it took me to my school, and then on the weekends it would take me off on adventures in the countryside. So I just had one bike, and it wasn't until the 80s that Specialized came out with the first mountain bike, and then many decades later we then had gravel bikes. But we just had one bike that we did everything on, and so perhaps part of my mindset and mentality is based on that. Now, if I'm to be totally honest, I don't think this bike really can do everything. For example, I wouldn't want to take it on a really rough, rocky downhill route, and I wouldn't want to start doing jumps with it. But the fact is, I couldn't do that anyway. So I'm looking at this within the parameters of what I'm capable of, and does it fit my needs? And it certainly seems to in everything that I've done so far. Is this bike really that unique in being so versatile? Or perhaps am I blinded by my brand loyalty to Giant and my love of this bike? What do you ride? I mean, does anyone else ride a bike that was designed as an endurance road bike, but they're using it off-road, they're using it on gravel, they're using it on single track? Or do you think a bike should be used just for what it's designed to be used for, and that perhaps I should be waiting and saving up for a gravel bike and a mountain bike before taking myself off-road and onto gravel? I'd be really interested to hear what you think, and I'd be interested to hear if there are many other people like me who use that one bike for everything. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Once again, if you have, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and I shall see you on the next ride.